Today, we're going to dive into something pretty much all of us can relate to. That sometimes tricky, sometimes amazing relationship between parents and kids. We're going to look at two incredible stories to explore how fathers, in their own unique ways, teach some really timeless lessons and, close that communication gap. Right? We've all been there. That moment of frustration where it just feels like you're on completely different planets. It's that exact feeling that kicks off our first story. So let's start with a classic scene from Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. On the surface, it's a story about a fight, but really, it's a masterclass in how to solve one. So what's got Scout so worked up? Well, she comes home from school absolutely heartbroken. Her teacher just told her that her dad, Atticus, taught her how to read all wrong and that they have to stop reading together at night. I mean, for a little girl who loves books, this is just the worst news ever. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at Atticus's reaction. He doesn't get mad. He doesn't tell her she's being silly. He just gives her space. He sits down, waits, and lets her get all her feelings out. That patience, that's step one, and it's absolutely crucial. So now we get to the real heart of the lesson. See, Atticus doesn't just want to fix this one problem. He wants to give Scout a tool she can use her whole life. He calls it a simple trick. This right here, this is everything. What a powerful way to describe empathy, right? He's basically telling her, hey, before you can solve this, you have to try and see the world through the other person's eyes. It's not about winning, it's about understanding. Okay, so just understanding someone is a huge first step. But sometimes it's not enough to actually fix the problem. So Atticus brings out another tool, a really practical one, the art of the compromise. I love that he does this. He doesn't just lay down the law, he asks her a question. He's inviting her to be part of the solution, which turns this argument into a teachable moment. The idea itself is pretty simple, right? It doesn't mean one person just gives up. A real compromise is when both people give a little something so that they can both get something important in return. In this case, getting back to a good place. And here's what that bargain looks like. Scout has to agree to keep going to school, that's the rule. But Atticus agrees that their special reading time isn't going anywhere. They'll keep doing it every single night. See? Both of them get the thing that matters most to them. And just like that, it's over. A little patience, a dose of empathy, and a fair compromise, and the crisis is gone. The gap between them is closed, and their bond is actually even stronger now. All right, now let's switch gears. We're going to jump to a totally different story that looks at a father's influence in a new way. We're moving from a single conversation to a whole lifetime of lessons, as remembered by the amazing poet Alice Walker. Wow, that first line just hits you, doesn't it? The whole mood changes. This isn't about solving a problem right now. This is a grown woman, 39 years old, looking back and reflecting on just how much her dad still means to her. And what's so fascinating are the kinds of lessons she remembers. Some are super practical, like how to handle money. Others are about character, learning that being honest is safe and good. And then there are these deeply personal lessons, like the pure joy of cooking and sharing food with people you love. Isn't that just a beautiful picture? It shows that her dad's lessons weren't just instructions. They became a part of who she is. His spirit is alive in the joyful, free way she lives her own life, adding her own spice to everything, just like he did. So when you put these two stories together, what do you see? You've got two very different dads from two very different worlds, but both of them have so much wisdom to share about how to connect with your kids. The difference in their styles is really cool. On one hand, you have Atticus, who's the coach. He uses a problem to teach a direct lesson about empathy. On the other hand, Alice Walker's dad teaches by just living. His lessons were soaked in over years and years, shaping who she became. One teaches you how to deal with the world, the other teaches you how to be in the world. So here's the big takeaway. There's no one right way to be a parent or to communicate. It could be a really focused conversation, or it could be the quiet influence of how you live your life every day. At the end of the day, the foundation is exactly the same: empathy, respect, and just a real desire to understand each other. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. We just saw how these fathers in books gave us tools for understanding and reminders of how small things can leave a huge legacy. It makes you wonder, right? What little piece of wisdom, maybe from a story just like one of these, could you use in your own life to close a gap and build a stronger connection?